Let me tell y'all something real quick. There comes a time in your life when you got to realize you are not the problem. See, somebody out there, yeah, I'm talking to you, somebody out there chose their ego over you. They chose pride over your loyalty. They chose to be right instead of being real. And now they sit in regret. Now they sit in that quiet room alone with their thoughts, replaying all the moments they could have been better. But see, you kept it real. You showed love, you gave patience, you offered grace, but they let ego drive the car, and where did it get them? Now they sitting in regret while you out here thriving. You know what the biggest mistake people make in relationships is? They let ego run the show. They let their pride sit in the driver's seat and love somewhere in the back, fighting to survive. They choose their need to be right, their desire to win, their stubbornness over the person who was standing right there, offering love, loyalty, and understanding. They choose ego over love. And let me tell you, that choice comes at a high cost. See, love is a gift. It's rare, it's powerful. And when you find someone who's willing to stand by you through your storms, someone who's got your back when the world feels heavy, someone who loves you at your best and your worst, man, you better hold on to that. You better nurture it, protect it, and treat it like the treasure it is. Because not everybody is built to love you like that. Not everybody has the patience to see you through your struggles. And if you let ego get in the way of that kind of love, you're going to wake up one day and realize you threw away something real for something temporary. For a moment where you felt like you won the argument, but you lost the relationship. That's what ego does. It whispers in your ear and tells you you don't need them. They should apologize to you. They should be the one to call first. Don't let them see you weak. And before you know it, you're sitting alone thinking about all the moments you could have chosen love, but you chose pride. You could have said, I'm sorry. You could have said, I love you. You could have said, let's work through this, but you didn't. Ego told you to hold out. Ego told you to be stubborn. Ego told you to protect your heart by pushing them away. And now you're sitting there in the quiet wondering why you feel so empty inside. Let me tell you something. Love ain't about winning. Love ain't about keeping score. Love is about learning to let go of the need to be right. Learning to say, hey, I value you more than I value this argument. Love is about compromise. It's about humility. It's about looking at the person you care about and saying, you matter more than my pride. That's hard for a lot of people because ego don't like to lose. Ego don't like to admit it's wrong. Ego don't like to say, I need you. But love is humble. Love says, I'm willing to lay my ego down because I care about us more than I care about me. I see it happen all the time. Good people get left behind because somebody else was too busy being stubborn. They had the whole package, love, loyalty, real support, but they couldn't see it because ego was in the way. And now they sitting in regret. They watching you shine. They seeing you glow. They scrolling through your pictures, watching you thrive, and it's eating them up inside because they know they had something good and they let it go. So if you've ever been in that situation, if you were the one who loved with your whole heart, who gave without keeping score, who tried and tried while they let ego make the decisions, don't you ever think you were the problem. Don't you ever think you weren't enough. The truth is, you were more than enough. They just weren't ready for it. They weren't mature enough to appreciate it. They weren't humble enough to let their ego take a back seat. And that's not your fault. You can't make someone choose love. You can't force someone to see your worth. And you sure as hell can't teach someone how to let go of their ego if they ain't ready. But what you can do, what you must do, is keep loving the way you love. Keep showing up the way you show up. Keep being the person who gives and forgives. But don't stay where you're not valued. Don't stay where you're only an option. Don't stay where someone's ego is more important than your heart. Because let me tell you this, when they chose ego over you, they lost something special. And one day, they'll realize it. They'll sit in regret. But you'll be long gone, living your life, loving your people, and growing in ways they never imagined. Let them sit in it. Let them learn the hard way. And you keep moving forward. Because you, my friend, are the blessing they could, and that's on them. You were the gift they couldn't see. And let me tell you something, that's on them. That's their problem, not yours. See, there are some people in this world who will have the blessing of someone good in their life, but they're so blinded by their own issues, their own insecurities, their own brokenness, that they won't even realize it. They'll have someone who loves them, who supports them, who believes in them, even when they don't believe in themselves. And they'll treat you like you're just there, like you're an option, like you're replaceable. But let me tell you right now, you were never just an option. You were the gift they couldn't see. You were the one who showed up when nobody else did, when they were going through it, when they were down and out, when the world was closing in on them. It was you who was right there, checking in, asking how they were doing, offering your time, your energy, your loyalty. It was you who stayed up late, listening to their problems, even when you had your own. It was you who encouraged them, who reminded them of their worth, who told them, hey, you've got this, don't give up. And they took that for granted. They thought you'd always be there. They thought they had time. They thought they could treat you however they wanted, and you just stay. But let me tell you something. God don't make too many hearts like yours. People like you are rare, and it's a shame when folks don't see the value of what they have until it's gone. It's like holding a diamond in your hand and thinking it's just a rock because you didn't take the time to look closer. That's what they did. They had the diamond, but they treated it like gravel. They couldn't see your worth because they were too caught up in their own world, too focused on themselves, too wrapped up in their ego, too distracted by the noise to recognize the blessing standing right in front of them. But see, here's what you got to remember. Just because they didn't see it doesn't mean it wasn't there. Your value doesn't change because they didn't appreciate it. A diamond is still a diamond, even if a fool thinks it's just a rock. You were still the blessing. You were still the gift. And one day they're going to realize that. They're going to sit back and remember the times you were there, the times you cared, the times you sacrificed. And it's going to hit them hard because by the time they see it, you'll be long gone. That's the thing about life. Sometimes people don't see what they had until it's no longer theirs. They'll scroll through old pictures, they'll replay old memories, and they'll wish they could go back. They'll remember the late night talks, the way you smiled at them, the way you supported them, and they'll feel that ache in their chest because they know they messed up. But that's not your weight to carry anymore. That's not your problem. That's on them. See, your job was to love. Your job was to give your best. Your job was to be the blessing. And you did that. You did your part. Now it's time for you to walk in your power, knowing that you gave something rare and beautiful. And if they didn't see it, that's their loss. You're not for everybody, and that's okay. Not everybody deserves the level of love and loyalty you bring, but the right ones, oh, they'll see it They'll know it. They'll value it. So don't you ever let someone's inability to see your worth make you question it. You were the gift they couldn't see, and now they're going to sit in that regret, wondering how they let someone like you slip through their fingers. Meanwhile, you're going to keep rising, you're going to keep shining, you're going to keep being the blessing, and the right people, the ones who are ready, who are mature, who are grateful, they'll see it. And they'll treat you the way you always deserve to be treated. Let them sit in that regret. Let them learn that hard lesson. And you just keep being the incredible, loving, loyal, one-of-a-kind person that you are. Because you, my friend, are the gift. And you always were. Ego can't replace real connection. It never could, and it never will. See, people get it twisted out here. They think they can run around acting like they don't need anybody, like they don't need love, like they can do it all by themselves. They walk around with their chest out, their nose in the air, thinking that asking for help makes them weak, thinking that being vulnerable makes them soft. They're so worried about looking strong, looking independent, looking like they got it all figured out, that they missed the whole point. They missed the people who were right there, loving them, supporting them, holding them down. But let me tell you something. Ego don't keep you warm at night. Ego don't hold your hand when life gets heavy. Ego don't call you to check in when you're feeling low. Ego don't sit up with you when you're scared about the future. Ego don't laugh with you when times are good or wipe your tears when times get hard. Ego don't do none of that. Connection, you know what does? Connection. That real connection, that person who sees you. I mean, really sees you. Not just the version you post online, not just the you that smiles in public, but the you that's scared, the you that's tired, the you that's been through some things. That person who loves you when you don't feel like you've got anything to give. That person who says, I got you, without you even having to ask. That's connection. That's love. That's the thing that matters when the dust settles, when the lights go off, when it's just you and your thoughts at the end of the day. But ego will have you pushing that connection away. Ego will have you thinking, I don't need them. I'm good by myself. They should chase me. They should apologize first. They should call me. Ego will have you sitting there waiting on someone to make the first move, waiting on them to break the silence, waiting on them to humble themselves. Meanwhile, the relationship is dying. The love is fading. And you're so wrapped up in your pride, you can't even see it slipping away. By the time you do, it's too late. They're gone. They've moved on. They've stopped waiting. They're not sitting by the phone anymore, hoping you'll call. They're not replaying the memories, wondering what they did wrong. Because they know they did their part. They know they tried. They know they loved. And now it's you sitting there looking back, realizing you let a good one slip away because you couldn't let go of your ego. Let me tell you something. There's no trophy for being stubborn. There's no prize for winning the argument if it costs you the relationship. Nobody's going to show up at your house with balloons because you stood your ground while your connection fell apart. At the end of the day, the people who have love, who have joy, who have peace, those are the ones who learned how to humble themselves. They learned how to say, I'm sorry. They learned how to say, you matter more to me than my pride. They learned how to say, I don't want to lose you. Ego might make you feel powerful in the moment, but it leaves you lonely in the long run. It's a temporary high with a lifetime of consequences. You can't hug your ego at night. You can't talk to your ego when life hits you hard. You can't lean on your ego when you're sick, when you're grieving, when you're scared. Ego will leave you empty, but real connection, that fills you, that lifts you when you can't lift yourself. So here's the truth. If you've got someone in your life who loves you, who supports you, who stands by you when you're not at your best, don't you ever let your ego get in the way of that. Don't let pride block your blessing. Don't let stubbornness make you lose the one person who was ready to go through the fire with you. Because once that connection is gone, once they walk away, once they stop answering the phone, you're going to realize ego couldn't replace that. It never could. And by then, it'll be too late. So don't be the one sitting in regret. Be the one who humbles themselves, who chooses love over pride, who chooses connection over ego. That's where the real power is. That's where the joy is. That's where life really happens. Let them sit in their regret. I'm serious. Let them sit in it. Don't go chasing after people who didn't value you when they had you. Don't go trying to fix what they broke because they didn't know how to appreciate it. See, some folks need to feel that silence. They need to feel that empty room when they reach out and there's nobody there. They need to scroll through those pictures and remember all the times you showed up, all the times you had their back, all the times you loved them when they couldn't even love themselves. And they need to sit in it. Because let me tell you something, regret is a powerful teacher. It's one of those things you can't shake off easily. It'll wake you up in the middle of the night. It'll hit you when you least expect it. Like when you hear a song that reminds you of that person you lost, or when you pass a place that used to mean something, or when you're sitting there alone realizing you could have had it all if only you'd been humble enough, wise enough, grown enough to hold on. That's the pain they need to feel. And you can't protect them from it. It's not your job to cushion them from the consequences of their own choices. They chose ego over love. They chose pride over peace. They chose to push you away when all you were doing was trying to love them. So now, let them feel that. Let them sit in that empty space they created when they pushed you out. I know it's hard because you loved them. You wanted to see them win. You wanted to build a life together. You tried to help them grow. You tried to be their rock, and they couldn't see it. They couldn't see your loyalty, your patience, your forgiveness, your kindness. And you know what? That's not on you. That's not your burden to carry. You were the blessing. You were the gift. And they let it go. So now they've got to sit in that. They've got to sit in the silence of their own decisions. They've got to sit in the echo of the what ifs and the I should have and the why did I let them go? And you don't you dare go back trying to rescue them from it. That's not your job anymore. Your job was to love, to support, to be loyal, and you did that. Now your job is to move on. Your job is to heal. Your job is to take all that love you were pouring into them and pour it into yourself. Your job is to thrive while they sit in that regret. And let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to watch you. They're going to see you moving forward, smiling, glowing, growing. They're going to see you being loved by someone who knows how to value you. They're going to see you walking in your purpose, chasing your dreams, doing all the things you said you wanted to do. And it's going to eat them up inside. It's going to burn every time they see your name pop up, every time they hear about your success, every time they realize they had something real and they fumbled it. That's not petty. That's not revenge. That's just life. That's what happens when you mishandle a good person. You sit in the regret while they shine. So if you're feeling tempted to go back, if you're feeling tempted to check in on them, remind yourself, they had their chance, they had their moment, and they chose ego over you. Let them sit in that. Let them feel it. Let them grow from it if they ever gonna grow. Because see, pain teaches you things comfort never could. And while they sitting in that regret, you go live, you go love, you go laugh, you go thrive. You don't let their mistake keep you stuck. You don't let their absence stop your progress. You keep moving forward with your head held high, knowing that you did your part and they're the one who lost out. Let them sit in that regret. And you sit in your peace, you sit in your growth, you sit in your blessing, because you are the gift and you always were. Let me tell you something straight up. You were never the problem. I know you've been sitting there questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong. I know you've been going back over the conversations in your head, replaying every word, every fight, every silence, trying to figure out if you could have loved them better, if you could have been more patient, if you should have given them one more chance. Let me stop you right there. Stop it. You were never the problem. You see, sometimes people will make you feel like you're the issue, like you're too much or not enough or too emotional or too quiet or too loud or too loud or too loving or too forgiving. They'll make you feel like your heart is a weakness instead of a strength. But let me tell you something. Your heart, that's your superpower. The way you love, the way you show up, the way you care, the way you give without keeping score, that's rare. And if somebody couldn't see the value in that, that's not your fault. That's a reflection of them. People who don't know how to receive love will always find a way to sabotage it. People who are used to dysfunction, who grew up with chaos, who never learned how to sit with their own emotions, those people will run from the kind of love you offer because it feels too good. It feels like they're not worthy of it. And instead of doing the work to rise to the level of love you gave, they'll tear it down. They'll push you away. They'll blame you. They'll make you feel like you're the reason the relationship didn't work. But hear me when I say this. You were never the problem. You showed up. You loved hard. You stayed loyal. You forgave. You gave second chances when they didn't deserve it. You stood by them when nobody else would. You encouraged them. You prayed for them. You tried to see the best in them when they were showing you their worst. And they couldn't handle that. They weren't ready for it. And that's not your burden to carry. See, people like you, you're rare. You're the kind of person who leaves a mark, the kind of person who makes people better just by being in their life. And when someone like you walks away, it leaves a void. They might not realize it at first, but oh, it'll hit them. It'll hit them when they're alone, when the dust settles, when they finally have time to sit with themselves and reflect. They'll remember the little things, the way you laughed, the way you listened, the way you cared. And they'll feel it. That emptiness, that's the space you used to feel. That peace you brought is gone now. But listen, don't you dare let their inability to see your worth make you question it. Don't you dare let their actions make you shrink your love, make you play small, make you think you need to change who you are to be loved. No, no, no. You were never the problem. Your love wasn't too much. Your kindness wasn't a weakness. Your patience wasn't wasted. You did what you were supposed to do. You loved them the best way you knew how. And they couldn't handle it. That's on them. That's their lesson to learn. And trust me, Life has a way of teaching people what they missed out on. Life has a way of showing them the value of what they threw away. But you've got to let that go. You've got to stop holding on to guilt that was never yours to carry. You've got to stop thinking you need to dim your light because somebody else couldn't handle its brightness. The right people, the ones who are ready, the ones who've done their work, the ones who know how to receive love, they're going to see you and they're going to thank God every day that they found someone like you. They'll treasure you. They'll protect your heart. They'll give you the love you always deserved but never got. So stop blaming yourself. Stop questioning your worth. Stop doubting the value you bring to the table. You were never the problem. And one day they'll sit with that truth and you'll be too busy living your best life to even care. Let me tell you something that's going to set you free. Your worth was never tied to their recognition. Never. It was never about whether they saw you, whether they appreciated you, whether they clapped for you, whether they told you thank you. That was never what defined you. See, too many of y'all have been sitting around waiting on validation from people who couldn't even see themselves clearly, let alone see you. You've been waiting on someone to tell you you're enough, waiting on someone to see the love you gave, waiting on someone to finally appreciate the loyalty you showed them. And I'm here to tell you, stop waiting. You don't need it. You were worthy when they ignored you. You were worthy when they overlooked you. You were worthy when they took you for granted, when they treated you like an option, when they acted like you were replaceable. You were worthy then, and you're worthy now. Their inability to see your value does not diminish it. Their failure to recognize your love does not make it less real. Their lack of gratitude does not make your kindness any less powerful. That's their blindness, not your lack. That's their immaturity, not your failure. That's their loss, not your fault. See, you got to understand something about people. Some folks are so used to broken love that they don't know how to handle the real thing when it shows up. They've been hurt, lied to, betrayed. So when someone like you comes along, pure, genuine, loving, loyal, they don't know what to do with it. It scares them. They think it's a trick. They think it's too good to be true. And instead of opening their arms to it, they run from it. They mess it up. They self-sabotage. And you sit there thinking, was I not enough? Let me tell you, baby, you were more than enough. You were the blessing they weren't ready to receive. You were the answered prayer they didn't know how to handle. You were the light shining in their darkness, but they couldn't see it because they were too busy staring at their own shadows. That's not on you. That's not your burden to carry. You can't make blind people see. You can't force broken people to be whole. And you can't tie your value to whether or not they recognize your worth. Your worth is in the way you love. Your worth is in the way you show up. Your worth is in the way you give, even when you're tired. Your worth is in the loyalty you bring, the patience you show, the forgiveness you offer. Your worth is in the way you keep going, even after they tried to break you. That's who you are. And that has nothing to do with whether they ever clap for you, whether they ever say sorry, whether they ever admit they were wrong. That's on them. That's between them and God. You've got to stop waiting for people to come back and say, you were right, I should have appreciated you. Because let me tell you something. You may never get that apology. You may never hear them say they're sorry. You may never see them admit they were wrong. And guess what? You don't need it. You don't need it to heal. You don't need it to move on. You don't need it to shine. Your life is not on hold waiting for their recognition. Your joy is not on pause waiting for their validation. Your peace is not dependent on whether they see your worth. That's between them and their own reflection. That's between them and their own journey. You, my friend, are already enough. You've been enough. And the people who are meant to see that, the people who are aligned with your spirit, the people who are ready for the love you bring, they'll see it. They'll value it. They'll treat you the way you always deserve. So stop tying your worth to the ones who didn't get it. Let them sit in their silence, their regret, their what ifs. And you go shine. You go love. You go live. Because your worth was never about them seeing it. It was about you knowing it. And when you know it, nobody can take it